Alrighty, welcome back, boys and girls. It's your main math man, Ms. Shank, coming to you live from Walker Grant Middle School. And in this video, we're still working on that SOL review guide, and now we're working on that 8.13. So we're going to be talking about everything scatter plots. You're going to make sure you can see the similarities to those functions. So 3 different kinds of correlations that you have is similar to the 3 different kinds of slopes that you can have. So again, we have the positive correlation. Again, let me actually separate them like this. We can say positive. As my x values increase, so do my y values. If I have a negative correlation, as my x values increase, my y values decrease. And then if I have no trend or no correlation, that means that it is just going to be scattered about with no pattern. For number 1, it says, for each of the following scatter plots, identify whether the relationship is positive, negative, or if there is none there. So for the first one, you could say there's no relationship since it's kind of all over the place. Again, notice how there's a value that's high up and below for the same line. However, for the second one, you could say, yes, that is a positive relationship. Again, as your x values increase, so do your y values. And then for the last one, that's going to be a negative relationship. Then it says, next, use the scatter plot below to answer questions 2 through 4. Which is the closest to the number of hot chocolates the owner would expect to sell when the temperature is 38 degrees Fahrenheit? So, what you can do for this is I can actually get a nice little ruler or a straight edge, and what you can do is you can actually kind of line up and say, okay, where would 38 degrees be at? Well, it'd just be, let's say below 40. So I can say something like that. All right, so find where 38 degrees is and kind of draw a line, usually a straight line. We'd say, okay, that's going to be about 38 degrees. And so it's saying, okay, which is closest to the number? That would be 38. So you're trying to see, okay, what would be the best prediction? So let's see. All right, could it be 20? Well, as we go out, it could possibly be 20. However, if you're noticing, we would say, hey, it should be, something in between those 2 amounts, and so it would actually be it'd be closest to 23 since those values are in the middle. So it can actually say it's gonna be closest to 23 since the other values, might be in the neighborhood of that, but 23 is gonna be the closest. All right, for number 3, it says, which is the closest to the temperature that would be predicted based on the sales of 15 hot chocolates? So now we can say, all right, again, it's predicted, meaning you're trying to guesstimate where it'd be at. So we're saying, okay, again, find that line of 15. So I can kind of see this line of 15 is right here. And so what would be the closest temperature? So would it be 40 degrees? Probably not. What about 48 degrees? What about 48 degrees? Well, let's see. That's going to be about right there is that 48, which actually, yeah, that seems about right. It'd be about 15 hot chocolates. For number 4, it says the scatter plot represents which set of data? All right. So what you can do is you can use, again, those values that they have in here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, and it kind of has those order pairs that go along with it. So for that first one, A, let's see, it says when the temperature is 0 degrees, I have 30 sold. Well, I don't have actually any values on 30, so I can not include that one. However, for the second one, let's kind of see and match up. So it's saying when the temp is 25, I have 30, so that's okay. When the temp is 30, I have about 27. When the temp is 35. I have 26, sure. So if you notice, each of these line up and match for that one. So if it gives you a table of values, again, you can create a scatter plot from that. For next one, it says for number 5, select all 4 correct answers. So I'm going to have half of these are going to be true. Select the points that are shown on the scatter plot. So same kind of setup. I want to make sure that I can use the values that they have to match up the ordered pairs. All right. So what I can actually do is I can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 ordered pairs, and what I can do is I can find 4 of them that are going to be on here. So for this one, it says 1, which I don't think it's going to be on 10 since that would be a little bit lower, so it's not going to be that one. It could be 18, but I'm gonna hold off on that one. What about 2? It's between 30 and 20. That seems reasonable enough to me, where it's closer to 30. So yeah, that could work out. How about the next one for 3? It is between 30 and 20, but it's a little bit closer to 20. Again, I'm using that left side over there. So I could say it is 323, where we wouldn't include this one since it's not directly on that line. Excuse me. For number 4, or yeah, for 4, it has still in between 30 and 20. So I could say something like this. You could say, sure, 25. That would be possible. But if you notice, hey, it's a little bit closer to 30. So we're gonna not include that one. And what about for 5? We have 37. Yep, that would work. And what about for 38? Sure, we could have 6. So I'm gonna select those 4 that are there. Next, it says use the scatter plot to answer the questions 6 through 8. Based on the plot, which is the best estimate for the number of hours it would take to read 5 magazine articles. So again, you're estimating, it doesn't have a value yet, but you're trying to say, okay, using this graph, I can go up and say, okay, I should have, values that are on that vertical line, and noticing the trend that goes along with it. Again, you can draw that line of best fit. Again, usually you try to have an equal number above and an equal number below. So let's have and count how many we have. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have let's have about 4 above and 4 below. Sure, something like that. And so if it kind of connects out, I'd have about 10 hours is probably the best estimation. For number 7, it says, what is the best estimate for the number of magazine articles you could read in 5 hours? Let's actually back that up. I think I messed up. Let's double check, because I read that wrong. I did this one. So I said 10 articles for 5 hours. However, we're talking about 5 magazine articles. So let's make sure they're saying, okay, 5 magazine articles. So you could say, something between 3 and 2. So yeah, it has about 2.5 hours. For number 8, it says which graph appears to show the correct line of best fit. All right, so it's definitely not that one. Just looking at it carefully. Can't be that one because you want to have some above and some below. And let's see. It actually is pretty similar to the one I drew, so I'm going to select that 3rd one. And then lastly, it says for each of the scatter plots, identify if it's positive, negative, or no. So again, we have down and to the right is negative, no pattern, and positive.